on a cold early winter day. Our water heater that's under there, if you're curious about that, is still working well. It's cold enough that a lot of the chickens have already been outside and then decided they wanted to come back and hang out on the perches for a bit. And right there where it looks rather like someone killed a chicken, that's because a lot of, well, not a lot, the last few of the ladies are still molting and shedding out feathers. This is what the barn is looking like today. That's their ladder up to the perches. And now we have this.
You think there'd be one there?
Get a wider piece if you think we want.
Well, was that just a cutoff?
I don't know. At some point, I didn't cut it. It was just out there.
Oh.
Folks, Ariel over here on a frosty morning. If you hear some noises, there are chickens above our heads still. It's about 15 degrees when I woke up, and I think it's warming up into the 20s out there now. Anyway, this we got put together a few weeks ago. This is really exciting. This is our new chicken Broody crate setup, which now we won't need till spring. Probably Foggy will be consistently our first hen to go Broody. She is every year. The last couple of years she's gone Broody on the same day in February every single time. So her body must be on quite a clock. But anyway, if you've been following along here, we have Icelandic chickens. They are excellent mothers. They're great at raising their own babies. And the setup we've had so far, which worked, was making a little Broody maternity crate for each hen when she was sitting for 3 weeks to hatch babies, and then they'd usually stay in it the first couple days as the babies hatched. And that worked well. It would give them their own space, and the other hens couldn't harass them. I could make sure they had food and water right beside them that no one else could empty. They wouldn't get other hens sitting on top of them and adding eggs into their clutch, which can happen, and so on. So that just worked really well. They all seemed fine with being separated, but here. The crates were always just stacked right about where I'm standing here in the barns. They were still with everyone, but they could have, peace and quiet. But especially this summer, it got to be a little out of hand because we had at least 6 broodies at a time. And our barn is pretty spacious, this chicken coop palace that Clay made us. But when you start stacking, we're just using little dog crates. We had a variety around. Some of the plastic ones, those are kind of the nicest for that. We had some wire ones, etc. That we use for various things. And anyway, by the time you stack 6 of them around in here with 6 different hens in them, each sitting a clutch of eggs, the barn started feeling really small. There was hardly anywhere to walk. There was hardly anywhere for the chickens to walk other than sit on their perches, which are up above, etc. So that was getting to be a little bit of a pain. So I was actually looking for someone giving away some old cupboards, from a kitchen that they tore out or something like that, something that wasn't of a quality anymore that anybody would put in a house. And I was thinking of screwing them to the wall here and taking part of the door panel out and attaching a screen instead, and being able to have something that was up on the wall and therefore out of the way, but that would still accomplish the separate little, maternity wards for each mom. So I was just keeping my eyes open for somebody getting rid of something like that here locally. And instead what I got was this. We actually had a local animal shelter that I guess was upgrading some of their stuff, and they were giving away these, which I think were used for cats and small dogs and whatever, and they're pretty cool. It's better than my original idea would have been, but each one has a little door. They're nice and deep. They're made out of some kind of melamine particle board, something that probably wouldn't last long outside, but this chicken coop has always stayed nice and dry. And pardon, I think Foggy is wanting to come in here and lay an egg, and I'm in her way. She's being noisy about it. Anyway, I'm really excited to get to use this in the spring. There's lots of room for the mom to go, sit in the back. I haven't screwed them on yet, but one of the issues would be they dump all their waters and feeders when they move around, because chickens do that. Anyway, I've got some of these little bowls with a little bracket that now I can actually screw to the wall in here, which, like I said, I haven't got done yet, but I've got enough of those to put one attached to the wall just up a little higher so they can't dump their food and water while they're in there sitting, and that will be convenient. And I probably will have to add a little bit of hardware cloth mesh here, because these holes are big enough for a hatching chick to fall out and fall down on the floor. I don't want that. But it's plenty to give moms each their own private space. It's now up here on the wall, which is lovely because that keeps out of the way of the floor. The floor is now open once again for chickens to do chicken things on. We set this, Clay just built this frame and set it right above the nesting buckets where they still lay their eggs. And don't get all excited, Icelandics do not lay green and blue eggs, if you can see those in there. These are some plastic Easter eggs that I found somebody giving away, and I use them as my decoy eggs in there that just help every time we have new pullets starting to lay, give them the idea that that's a pretty good place to put their eggs. It seemed pretty effective. It's rare that I find eggs other places than that. And I wasn't sure if the chickens would like having this up above their heads on top of their existing nest buckets there, but they seem to like it. I think it makes it a little bit more cave-like, and they actually seem really excited about that. So, hopefully next spring we'll have lots of babies being brooded and hatched out in here. Of course, they could also double as, a quarantine or sick chicken crate, which we haven't really needed much, but every now and then you need something if somebody gets injured and they just need peace and quiet for a little bit. But this is just a really nice setup of things to have on the wall and out of the way. Then you can see us have this mesh up high. I know chickens will sit anywhere there's a flat surface. This, of course, created a flat surface up above these 2 rows of crates, and I didn't really want them sitting up there and just pooping. I knew it would fill up with poop and it would be a hard area to clean, so we put this little screen barrier around it, and currently it's empty, but the intention is that when I have things like an extra bag of pine shavings, which I use to occasionally refresh the material in their nest buckets and stuff like that through the winter, to be able to put those up there and they're out of the way, so it's just another kind of poultry supply storage spot, but the chickens primarily can't get up there and just fill it up with poop. So that's our upgrade of somebody else's free junk to our chicken barn that I am pretty excited about.
Thank you everyone for watching. It means a lot, and I hope you learned something along the way.
If you know somebody else who would enjoy this as well, share it with them.